It's time for us to drive the enemy back.
So folks, who's gonna tell Sony about their PSN requirement on The Last of Us Part 2? Anyone? But let us compare Jodi from the Killing Antidote and Abby. Now, like I said, I know I'm comparing both The Last of Us Part 2 and the Killing Antidote, but this is most likely be character-wise, okay? Nothing special. Before we get our comparison, I want to show you an article suggesting that The Last of Us Part 2 will have PSN account requirement. Although the new release is on April, okay? April 3rd. Here we go again, folks. Sony has signaled that The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered requires a PSN account 3 months before the game's release on Steam. The Steam page for Naughty Dog's single-player adventure includes standard Sony requirement for a PlayStation Network account. And since PC gamers have little hope for Sony, who wouldn't budge on the PC requirement for its Steam release, since they won't budge because of Helldivers, so it has proven that The Last of Us Part 2, as a result of PC gamers in 100 countries won't be able to buy the game on Steam because Sony does not operate PlayStation account in those markets. As we all know, it's about more than 180 countries. Because for years, some players in these countries have created PSN account in supported regions to get around the restriction, but they are concerned that Sony could ban those accounts of those who do. This is a controversial to say the least. Most of its games suffering from negative Steam reviews as a result of the PSN requirement. In September, God of War Ragnarok met with mixed user reviews, ratings on Steam following its PC launch, with most of the complaints revolving around PSN requirement. One disgruntled fan even created a God of War Ragnarok mod that removed the PSN account, but it was pulled down out of fear of reprisal from Sony. Exacerbating the backlash is that Sony has doubled down on this policy. Even single-player games such as God of War Ragnarok, Until Dawn, now The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Sony PSN requirement for its PC games was thrust into the limelight with the release of Arrowhead's explosive PC and PS5 co-op shooter Helldivers 2 in 2024. Helldivers 2 suffered a review bomb on Steam after Sony made PSN accounts mandatory for PC gamers on Valve platform. Yeah, we all know this. Sony eventually backed down and reversed the Helldivers 2 PSN account, but the game remains unavailable in many countries that lack PSN. Indeed, all Sony games on PC now suffer from this problem. You know what, I was about to test out Helldivers, but when they introduced the PSN account, yeah, I'm checked out, not playing it. And that goes the same for The Last of Us. Truth be told, I was probably focused on the PS2. I didn't even know The Last of Us Part 1 or the first one, the 2020 or the 2013 was released. And I didn't even know The Last of Us Part 2 was released on 2020. I mean, that's better for me. And for the record, I haven't bought any games made by Naughty Dog, whether it's Uncharted or The Last of Us. I mean, I dodged a bullet. Because when I heard what they did, honestly, I didn't even know about it until years later. Because I didn't know they were copyright striking channels that were critical of people like Naughty Dog. I didn't know about that. But when they did, oh dear, I become skeptical of them. I still remember a video from Oh No Alex where he makes a video on Marvel Spider-Man 2 coming to the PC, where he says, and I quote, "I approve pirating games from PlayStation since 180 countries doesn't have a PSN account, so many gamers in those countries should go ahead and pirate the game. PlayStation games." Okay, this is why I always say, look, if you really want the best for your buck, you want to gain a lot of viewers or a lot of players to play your game, PC day one is the only way. Not only that, it can only be censorship free. Well, less of that. It's censorship less nonetheless, no pun intended. So that you can avoid things like this. Because things like this happen. It's proven that PC games, whether you like it or not, is the only way to get not just more players, it's to get sales and censorship free. And censorship free is the one thing I'm gonna advocate. A reason for a PC gamer. Sorry I have to ramble that, even though it's relevant, but I'm gonna have to put it in because of this. So for the record, as for the Killing Antidote, yeah, well, I didn't know that it released on the 6th of October because I was busy doing other things. Lo and behold, I don't know how much is it in the US, but it's cheap. Well, because for an indie title, it's indie. Even though it's a female character only, you can customize it. And if you look at the footage that I'm showing you, you can even maximize the chest size compared to Dragon Age Valgar. Except for the waist. I don't know about the waist, okay? I think you can go faster. I could be wrong on that one. So let me know in the comments if you ever try that. I believe when it comes to pitching them, despite Abby being large, or in this case, muscular as a trans or transmuscular as I would like to call it, but for Jodi, she can outrun or perhaps she can beat Abby in just a flick. Since she is, of course, Chinese, Chinese knows Kung Fu. I don't know if Abby knows Kung Fu or how she fights. So in this case, if you guys really can't access it, I think the only thing you can do is either play Marvel Rivals or you can play the Killing Antidote that I'm suggesting. And this is for those who doesn't have a PSN account or who don't want a PSN account, okay? Either you play Marvel Rivals, the Killing Antidote, Black Myth Wukong, Resident Evil 4 Remake, whatever game that doesn't have a PSN account. Oh yeah, and Marvel Spider-Man 1 Remastered that doesn't have a PSN account, which I hope they don't. Leave a like and subscribe if you want any woke or anti-woke detected, or you just want to see me play games. Visit my second and third channel up here or link in the description.